Good morning and welcome to the Shortcuts Ask Me Anything. We are live, and while everyone is gathering, I will a little bit introduce our event today and also a few words about the shortcut. So if you're joining us for the first time, we're a non-profit organization helping with meaningful career here in Finland. And we aim to help to bridge the gap between job seekers in Finland and companies, and mainly our community is international. So this is why our events are in English. So Ask Me Anything is this monthly show where we ask some burning questions on one of the topics that is relevant in the community. And we always have some amazing speaker that answers them. And today we have Sofia Pohls joining us from Finders Seekers. So Finding Seekers is a company that is revolutionizing talent acquisition and with a big focus on IT and digital industry. Welcome, Sofia. We're super happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Yes, so while everyone is thinking about the questions and gathering up the courage to type them out in the chat, I'm going to ask you a couple myself. So let's start with, please tell us a little bit about your background and your career.
Sure. So yeah, I've been in the IT recruitment field for about 10 years now. So originally, I actually studied to be a lawyer, but I've never been practicing that. But I guess all the negotiation skills and so on, they become very useful in my career in talent acquisition. And yeah, about 4 years ago, we founded Finder Seekers. We help our clients win the IT or the tech talent game, and we do that by helping them with talent acquisition and employer branding. Employer branding needs, so kind of like one-stop shop for all talent acquisition and employer branding help.
Sounds good. And so a little bit why we chose this topic today is because in our community, there are many people also changing their careers. For example, they have found that here in Finland, they can't find a job in the career that they have been pursuing before, or just they decided to try something new. And of course, tech career comes up a lot nowadays. We all hear that there's a shortage of tech talent, so many people are contemplating this change. So the first, very very simple question is what can make you think that career in coding or in tech is right for you, or opposite? What could be a sign that it is wrong for you? What would be your thoughts?
That's a good question. I've never really had a career as a coder, so I think that's something to consider. But I think some of the general qualities that I see that kind of um, lead you towards it is like, first of all, tech is a career for everyone, so absolutely everyone should be interested in it. It's something that we all use every single day. Um, and that's why we believe that, like, because technology is evolving so much all the time, also should the people who are doing technology be evolving. So for example, we definitely want to encourage more women to enter the tech market, more people from very diverse backgrounds, because obviously technology should be also equal. It should embrace like inclusion and equity and so on. So that's why tech is, first of all, it is a career for everyone. I think maybe some qualities that like you can think of, like when you're thinking like, oh, would tech be the right choice for me, is that do you enjoy solving problems? Like if you really enjoy, for example, solving puzzles and different problems, or you're very interested in logic or kind of like riddles and so on, that might be a very good clue that like technology could be a good career choice for you. So technology is a lot about especially coding is a lot about like solving different problems. But then we also need to remember that there's so many jobs out there in technology. So that's why I feel like technology is really for everyone. So if you're more like, you like to interact with different people and you really feel like you have great social skills, then there might be some other positions in technology for you. Like you could consider becoming a product owner, product manager, work in technology sales, etc. So there are like different roles. If you're very visual, then you could go more into the design part. I feel like, having the basic skills in coding is great for everyone, and absolutely everyone can learn the basic skills in coding. So you shouldn't be too worried about that.
Yes, very, very much agree. So we here at the Shortcut have now this Spark Academy going on. The idea of the academy is to bring more diversity into the startup ecosystem here in Finland, which is why it's aimed primarily at women and non-binary people. And actually, we have a full stack development module starting, but I will talk about this a little bit later. But with the same idea that everyone has to have at least some coding skills. But I can see that our chat is active, so I will be starting to show some questions. Let's see. Unfortunately, the name is not shown. Someone from LinkedIn is asking, my questions are how to get a job when even I get rejected from internships because apparently I don't have enough experience. I'm a career shifter. I have 10 plus years of work experience in other fields and some in IT as well. Also, entry-level jobs ask for 3 to 5 years of experience. So how can I jump this seemingly impossible hurdle? So several questions here in one. Let's try to shoot it out of the park.
Yeah, this is a really good question. And this is something that we are constantly trying to tackle in this field. So we do realize that there are a lot of positions open for senior people, but not so many for people who are trying to enter the field. So internships and junior positions, and we definitely need more of those. So something that we are trying to do, and I know a lot of like fellow companies are trying to do, is to lobby to get more companies to have internship programs, because no one will become senior unless they're a junior first. But then again, like if you are a career shifter, I think there's some things that you need to consider. um, so this applies to everyone. So if you're changing career, the one thing is that very often companies will look at your CV and they will think like, oh, like this person is a career shifter and they want to get an internship in, for example, in IT now. And a lot of recruiters will think that, okay, like their salary expectation is going to be too high for us. So that's something that you need to always tackle in your CV, in your application, is to say like, hey, I'm ready to start with the internship salary as well, because that's something that a lot of companies will think. I know from a recruiter perspective, been having this conversation many times, is that like you see someone and oh, they have such a long experience, and like their salary expectation must be over the roof. So that's something that you really need to actively tell yourself, that I am ready to start with the junior salary, I'm ready to start with the internship salary. And you shouldn't be too worried about it, because like your salary will go up like quite soon if you're ready to start from there. But then how to get a job overall, as a career shifter, or when you start and like there are not so many opportunities available, sometimes you kind of need to create the opportunity yourself. So obviously, of course, you need to apply and you need to look for those internship positions, but then also it doesn't hurt to be active yourself and reach out to some companies that you find very interesting, that you're very passionate about, you would love to work with, and then reach out to them and say like, hey, I am like, I'm a career shifter, I'm starting in IT. I would love to get an internship or a junior position in your company, even for like even for a short time. Like, do you have anything that you could project that I could join for 6 months, and be active and show like, this is my GitHub, these are some of the projects that I've been doing, kind of showcase like what you have, and then create the position for yourself. Very often those short-term gigs will become longer.
Yes, very true. And I think also across many industries, not just IT, but
Yeah,
definitely
absolutely. Yeah.
applicable in IT.
Yeah.
Yes, and then was from the same person also was also many companies ask for fluent Finnish for tech jobs when the work is software development, and we shouldn't even talk to clients at all.
Yes, this is another topic that also us and other companies are trying to lobby. That, like, why do you ask for Finnish? I think it's a good idea also for all of us to keep companies accountable and ask like, why is Finnish required for this position? Like, what is the thing that requires Finnish language? Sometimes there are reasons for that. So sometimes, for example, companies are working with public sector, and that is why, like, all documentation has to be in Finnish or Swedish, and that is a valid reason because the public sector works that way. So their official language is Finnish or Swedish. But very often there is no good reason for this, and I think it's important for everyone to remember that it is also considered. It is illegal to ask for requirements that are not really required to do the job. So I think it's important for all of us to keep companies accountable and ask, like, why do you need Finnish? Like, really ask that question. If they don't have a good reason for that, like, at least we've raised the conversation. Here, I don't think there is, unfortunately, any kind of like shortcut for this problem, but I think it's just important that we all keep the conversation ongoing. Um, Very often also, again, once again, like, I just really want to point out how important it is to network with the right people. So very often the thing is that companies might still be open for English speakers. It's just something that they just add it because, like, it just read like Fluent Finnish in the job ad template, and they just didn't feel like changing it. So sometimes you can still reach out to them and say, like, hey, I'm not a fluent Finnish speaker, or I'm like, my Finnish is on the B2 level or whatever, and ask them, like, could I still apply? Like, can I still try? So sometimes companies are open, like they just had it there, they just wrote it down because of some ancient reasons that they can't even explain to themselves, but like sometimes they are open. And especially when you do that networking, when you create the personal connection, then sometimes it helps, and you can still get the position even if you're not a fluent Finnish speaker.
Awesome. I think we should all a little bit like push the boundaries when applying for jobs. Indeed, we don't know if there's like a reason for that or not. Thank you so much for the question or questions, and Sofia for the answers. And here comes the next ones from Stephanie. Let's see. Stephanie is asking, I'm currently learning programming, how long it will take to be ready to look for a job, and how to know what kind of job to look for, meaning the level of experience the job seeker is expecting.
Yeah. Well, I think this really depends a lot. So some people have been studying, or they've been going through this like academy programs, or the program that the shortcut is offering, and then they might be ready in 6 months to start in an internship. And some people have been doing tech for like 10 years, and then they feel ready. I think it really depends, like, how ready you feel when to start applying. So I mean, it's not a bad idea to start applying after, like, 6 months of like heavy studying, and then, once you have something in your GitHub, some kind of projects to share, then you probably can start looking after that, and then you will definitely get some more feedback from the market, and from the companies, like whether you are ready or not, and what to improve. And always remember to ask for that feedback, because it's so important. Like, they will typically I think companies are very often quite hesitant to tell the feedback because they don't want to offend anyone, or they feel like they're offending. But actually, the feedback is so important for all of us to develop. Um, and how to know what kind of a job to look for, when you're starting in the industry, then look for the junior, the internship positions. You can also, as I said, you can reach out to companies yourself and ask, like, hey, would you need help? Like, for example, I've been coding with JavaScript now for 6 months. I've been doing these projects. Would you need help with that? Um, I think something that would really help is, like, on top of your studies, like, maybe ask if your friends have any projects they would need, like if they want to build a website for their, I don't know, their pony, or or something else. Like, ask, like, if you can help out with something, because once you have something concrete to show, that you can show, like, I actually built this, like, this is something that I did, that will definitely help with the job search.
Sounds good. Let's go to the next one. So next one comes in several parts from Paulina. Paulina is finishing soon her PhD in natural sciences. She's working with R as in programming language. I'm self-taught, as R was needed in my research work. But I don't want to continue in science. I enjoy R, but I know it is not very popular outside of the academia. question: is it possible to find job with R only and then learn something new, mostly Python, in this new job? Disclaimer: no Finnish skills at all.
Good question. I've been working now with tech recruitment for 10 years, as I said, and I've never been recruiting for a position that requires only R. I know that there are some companies out there who are working with R and are looking for that skill specifically. So that is something that you could try to see. Maybe you could do a LinkedIn search, or you could Google like companies working with R, and then try to specifically reach out to those, because it's a very, very niche skill as well. So I think you're in a good position if you know R already, and then learn something like Python in the new job. It is also not a bad idea to start studying Python as a kind of like side thing right now, because Python is very, very popular. That's very much needed. But yeah, as I said, like there are some companies using R I know of, but outside of academia as well, but not too many. And then again, like I think you need to just find those companies and specifically reach out to them.
Yes, thank you, Paulina, for the question. And then next up, we have Rajvi. Rajvi has done his master's in business administration with specialization in HR. It's very challenging to get a job in HR, so he is changing his career in IT. Classic story. The question is, what is the good way to start a career in coding? Do I have to pursue any degree in IT, or do I just start with taking any course and training in coding? If I don't pursue degree in information technology, can I get the job in IT?
Good question. So there are a lot of people working in the field of IT who don't have any kind of like formal education. So I think it's definitely doable to get a job in IT in without any kind of like official degree. Um, there are tons of like different trainings that you can take. So some are organized by the shortcut. Then there are also some that are from Integrify, um, also from academic work, and a lot of these are directed to you learning the skills quite fast and then getting a job after. So that's something that is very, very good to do. Um, I think it's a very, very I mean, I'm not saying that like, I think we should, first of all, in Finland, we should really enhance the opportunities for non-Finnish speakers to get a job in the business fields as well, because I think it's very difficult. I think especially in business, it's very much required that you speak Finnish. But I don't think it is a bad idea if you have this kind of passion towards technology, if you're interested in to make that shift in IT. There's so many jobs available in IT, and IT is like um, you know 90% of all the companies we work with, they don't have any kind of language requirements besides English. So it is definitely a great place to build a career. But yeah, there are different programs that you can take. You can find a job even if you take like a lighter program that it's only like 6 months and so on, because IT coding is really a lot about like what you learn while you're doing. So the more you do, the more you learn. So even if you study yourself, even if you take some courses, do some certifications on your own, that's really, really good. But I feel like it is a career that kind of like once you get the first job, like you will definitely learn a lot while doing. So you need to know the basics, you need to know the concepts, and like kind of build the base. But once you're in the job, you will learn a lot more.
Yes, thank you, Rajvi, very much. Next up, we have Sab. Sab is asking, hi there, what are some networking methods we can use in this field to get in contact with companies?
Yes. So definitely LinkedIn. I would recommend you to start building your LinkedIn presence already now. If you're just like, for example, now getting started with studying IT, what you can do is that start writing about your studies on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great way to build a brand for yourself and to get a job. Like I know so many people who got a job in LinkedIn, and once you're ready to apply for a job, a really good tip is that make a post about it. Like tell everyone that, hey, like I've been using, like, for example, R, or I've been using Python, or I've been studying JavaScript, and I'm looking for my first position. um, People tend to be very happy to help in LinkedIn. So that is also something that you can start doing. Like, for example, start documenting your journey to switch your career to IT in LinkedIn. It's a great way to build your personal brand, but LinkedIn is definitely the best place. Then there are some other communities out there. So there are some things like a place called Koodiklinikka, so Code Clinic, but written in Finnish. It's a very Finnish speaking place, but that's also a great way to network with other developers. So especially if you have like some Finnish skills, you can go and follow the conversation there. You can ask a lot of help also there. So if you have like some questions about technology and so on, you can do that there, and then you can also say like, hey, I'm looking for a job, and is there anyone who would be able to help me out? Um, one more good networking way, once you start to build your career in IT, is to get a mentor for yourself. So this is also something you can do in LinkedIn. You can ask for a mentor. So you can say like, hey, I'm just getting started in my career in IT, and I'm looking for a mentor. And then once you get a mentor from the IT field, you already have one connection. So that connection can then like bring some other connections to you. I really believe in the power of networking. So just asking people for coffee or having a casual Teams chat or whatever like that, that will help you to land the job in IT. So the more people you know, the more connections you have, then they will always have more connections to offer to you.
Yes, and I agree with the tip about mentoring. I think it's a very big thing in Finland, and it's a pro bono thing, and still it's a lot, like a lot of results come from that. So definitely explore finding a good mentor. Next question comes from Olga. Olga says there are plenty of courses for beginners, but not that much that would prepare you for a real job. Can you recommend any or advice how to tackle this? Thanks.
Yeah, this is a good question. I think it's important, like when you start, to get like some basic courses to understand some of the concepts and like how some things work. But then, as I said, like ask for your friends and your family, like, hey, like, do you have any projects that you would like me to work on? This is the best way to build your portfolio, to show what you have built. So no matter if it's your friend's like online store, or it's your mom's like personal branding website, or whatever it is, like just build something. So that is really the best way to learn, because you typically explore so many different aspects. So that's something. Also, one thing is to participate in hackathons. Like I think like during COVID times, we haven't had too many hackathons, but there are, like, for example, the Aalto University is very active in organizing different hackathons. I think there are a lot of hackathons available in probably also in Maria 01. So like like just participate in those hackathons, because then you also get to learn from others. So that's a really, really, really good way to learn. So doing something in real life, something where you're solving some kind of problem for someone. So how to increase online sales in your friends like online store. So it can be whatever.
Yes, and also I see that in the chat some of our listeners are also posting tips, so please check out those. And I have also used this time to post a link to our Spark Academy, which is, by the way, today is the last day to apply. So if you after this event you feel extremely energized to start with your career in coding, today is the day. Then next question comes from Sohele. Sohele is asking, I'm learning Python at the moment and I know a little bit of R. I would like to know where I can find some project or training to work on, as I think I learn better while working on a project.
um yeah, that's a good question. Well, once again, I would maybe go to LinkedIn. So and ask on a LinkedIn and like, hey, does anyone know any kind of like Python or R project that I could participate like pro bono? I would just love to learn and develop my skills. That is also a really good way to get like more experience and to network with people and maybe like get your um, to get connected with some of your future potential employers. So that's something to consider. I'm not all that in about like doing only pro bono. There, I think we shouldn't create this kind of like employment market in Finland where people are just working free for internships. But if you say like, for example, I can do like a 3 months pro bono thing, then you have like set clear boundaries for yourself. And if they want to continue with you after 3 months, then you can say like, well, I need to get an earning from somewhere as well. So sometimes it is a good step to get your foot on the, like, how do you say, between the door, like how we say in Finnish. Um, but you should set boundaries. So free work is should not be allowed forever. It should be until a certain point.
Yes, that is a very good tip, and I think that sometimes it is so that people lose track of this, and then like find themselves for years doing things and being unpaid. So this is a great tip to remember also, to value yourself. Yes, I'm going to quickly. So we're almost running out of time. There's time maybe for one or two questions. I will quickly share again our program, Spark Academy. So the link is in the chat, and I will also send it later to all of you. So today is the last day to apply, and you can, like, if you follow this link, you can also like read more about what you can expect from this course. But it starts in August, on the 15th of August, and what we teach there is JavaScript, React, SQL, no SQL, and of course, we do not promise you to already come out of this course as like fully ready for a job, but it's definitely this way to like start, see if this is for you, if you can do it, and if you like to do it. And then, of course, we here at the Shortcut do our best to then connect you with the recruiters in the area and do matchmaking events and so on. So if you feel like starting this journey, today is a good time. Yeah, I don't think we have any questions in the chat. Sofia, if you maybe would have like some like final words from you or from finder seekers about this topic that you would like to share.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one thing that is very important to remember is that we estimate that 75 to 80% of all jobs are hidden, so they will never go advertised anywhere. And that is why, like, someone in the chat was asking, like, when you apply, like only about 10% of the companies answer. In Finland, it is very, very common not to post jobs online. So they kind of get filled through networks or through someone you know. And that is why, like, very often you just have like a lot of competition for the positions that are out there once they get published, because it's only about one fourth of all the jobs that are available in the market. That is why I think it is very important for everyone to not to underestimate the power of networking. And people are generally very happy to give you some tips and hints, like especially when you're starting in the field. So reach out to companies that you're interested in, meet with their recruiters, meet with their HR, meet with their hiring manager, meet with their developers, and ask for help, and like be interested in them, ask a couple of good questions, introduce yourself. And this is definitely, I promise you, it will pay off. Like, everyone will get a job through this method. So instead of just applying for the open positions, be active, network, meet with a lot of people, tell them what you want and what you need. So very often people are very happy to help if they're able to help, if you just very clearly communicate what you need.
Yes, thank you very much for all the tips. So this event has been recorded. So if you missed some part of it, it will be up on our channels, so you can rewatch. Also, I think it's safe to say that you can follow Sofia on LinkedIn, isn't it? Yes, so you can, if you feel like you had more questions and you would like to connect, you can send an invite on LinkedIn and say like, hey, we're from the Shortcut event, and connect. And if you want to see Sofia in person, we will be having on the 15th, we are going to be having opening of the third module of Spark Academy, and there will be limited seats, but those of you who will get into the academy definitely will meet Sofia. So thank you everyone for watching, Sofia for your time today, and have the rest of the day, very good rest of the day, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye.